talk. So Hannity had a sit-down interview with Trump, and the big takeaway question that's trending right now on X, it's Hannity showing his true colors, because Hannity, he's over at Fox News. They pay him ungodly amounts of money. I mean, Hannity makes over $50 million a year. And I'm not saying he's not worth $50 million. He does his, his primetime TV show. He does his nationally syndicated radio show. But with that $50 million, it comes with a price. And Hannity, he's, he is, I don't know, is he MAGA? Is he MAGA? Is he really on our side, or has he taken the $50+ million they pay him and plays both sides? And he did this interview with Trump, and there's just one takeaway. Let me play this one clip. This is Hannity asking Trump about the weaponization of government.
Will you pledge to restore equal justice, equal application of our laws, end this practice of weaponization? Is that a promise you're going to make?
You have to do it. But it's awful. Look, I know you want me to say something.
No, I don't want you to say. I'm asking.
I don't want to look naive.
I don't want
What they've done to the Republican Party, they want to arrest on no crime.
That's right.
They want to arrest the person that won the nomination in a landslide. There was nobody even close. In a landslide. The person that got millions of votes, more votes than any other sitting president in history in the last election. The person that won an election that he wasn't.
So do you hear what Hannity's doing here? What Hannity's doing is trying to get Trump to agree and promise not to prosecute any of these people that have brought the lawfare against him.
Legal scholars. They can't believe what's happening. Some of them don't even like me, and they're saying this is a very, very dangerous thing that's happening. No, we can't let this happen, and I will do everything in my power not to let. But there's tremendous criminality here. What they're doing to me, if it's going to continue, we're really not going to have much of a country left.
Okay, so why did Hannity go down that rabbit hole? Why is Hannity working so hard to try to get Trump to promise not to prosecute these lawfare people? And you know what Hannity's doing here is what the left are doing. These people that are going after Trump are committing all kinds of crimes, right? Fannie Willis, Letitia James, Bragg, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland. And what the left want you to think is that prosecuting these criminals for their criminal activity is somehow revenge. It's not revenge, it's justice. There needs to be an investigation to show the collusion between the Justice Department, the Attorney General in particular, and all of these local prosecutors, which is illegal, and the White House. And the idea that shouldn't be investigated, and people that have been involved in lawfare, which is criminal, should not be prosecuted. That doesn't seem like revenge to me. It seems like Hannity is hardcore playing the uniparty establishment case here. Why should Trump promise not to want these people prosecuted? Right? That's it. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, all right? The thing about Hannity, and this is the way it's been with Hannity for a long time, okay? These people that are in media, like Hannity, they're paid so much money. It's almost like they've made deals with the devil. Maybe not almost, maybe it is. I was shocked that Brett Baer, it's not even his primary home, but paid $35 million for a house up the street from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. And that's not even his only house. That's like his weekend house, winter house, whatever it is. And the reason they pay people so much money in the mainstream corporate media, like Brett Baer and Hannity is so they can get them to play ball just like that. And yeah, Christine says it seems like a setup. Absolutely. And you know, Hannity, a few years back he secretly got divorced from his wife. People did not know he and his wife split up for years. Somehow he kept it a secret. And his wife that he left for his girlfriend that he has now, she was with him when he was not famous, when he was struggling to make his way up to the top, and then he left her. He's got a massive alimony. He's got this younger, pretty girlfriend. He's got a very expensive life and lifestyle. Yeah, Ainsley Earhart, yes. And Ainsley, who promotes herself as a Sunday school teacher, basically, type girl, living in sin over there with Hannity. But he's got the alimony, he's got the lifestyle, and that $50 million that he gets, it's more than $50 million, but that $50 million plus he gets a year sounds like a lot, and it is. But when he's got the alimony from the first wife that stood by him and helped him when he was making his way before he was wealthy and famous, and he's got the young, it doesn't last as long as you would think. There can be guys at that level of income that, believe it or not, are pretty close to being paycheck to paycheck. I don't know if he's paycheck to paycheck, but the money goes quickly with the life that Hannity has. So they pay these people these huge amounts of money, and it allows them to control them. It allows them to control them. And no doubt about it, Sean Hannity is, I don't know, what would be the label? Would it be controlled opposition? What would you describe it as? Is it controlled opposition? Is he, I'm not saying that he doesn't like Trump. I'm not saying that inside he's not MAGA. Because I'm sure he likes Trump. I'm sure inside he would like Trump to win and everything else. But that money, they control him with it. So, And you see this time and time again. I mean, that is a ridiculous question that Hannity asked. It really, truly is. It really, truly is. And now, the Georgia case against Trump has been put on hold while Trump's appeal to remove Fannie is looked into by the courts. So that case is evaporating. Things could not be going better than they are for Trump right now. This is probably one of the most perfect times of any presidential candidate this close to the election. And I'll tell you, at the end of this month is the debate between Trump and Biden. And you can tell by the way they're talking, everything with Biden is going to be this convicted felon nonsense, and Trump is going to just wipe the floor with that. Kevin says he stopped watching mainstream media almost 5 years ago. I don't watch too much mainstream media. If there's breaking news going on, I'll turn it on. Most of what I see, like this clip I played of Hannity, I didn't watch Hannity. I will watch the interview in its entirety. I'll probably listen to it on my way into the radio station this morning because it's a Trump interview and I want to hear what he says. But most of the things like that, I did all my show prep, and then I always go and look and see what's trending on X, and that's a top trending thing right there, Hannity, that interview from last night. So I'll go and watch the clip. It's like The View. I don't watch The View, but if something interesting happens or that's worthy of some discussion, you'll see it on social media. So I don't watch any of these things, and I really think that not that many people watch it. I think most people do what I do. You hear hear or see a clip on social media, and that's what you see. You don't really watch it, right? You don't watch it because you don't trust it. I haven't watched Hannity in many years. His radio show. Sometimes I'll turn his radio show on in the afternoon if I'm in my car. In the afternoon, I'll turn him on for a few minutes, and I find Hannity's radio show to be vanilla, very vanilla, and it's just not that interesting. Very generic. Welcome, Germany. The German Soldier. What a German Soldier. Not a very popular title on June 6th in the United States, because today's a big day, June 6th, the 6th of June. The D-Day celebration. It's hard to believe that it's 80 years since the Normandy invasion. That's amazing. I was watching last night. You guys should watch this too when you're done watching me. I've watched this many times over the years, and there is an amazing 90-minute documentary interview with Walter Cronkite with Dwight D. Eisenhower. And Eisenhower went back to Normandy, and it's called D-Day plus 20 years. And Eisenhower walks through everything from the planning till, through the whole invasion. And it's very fascinating. Obviously, he did this interview in '64. And I'm glad he did it because it's a great historical document. But anyway, today's the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. And, you see these survivors. I saw a whole bunch of the Normandy survivors that are 100 years old, some of them more, I'm sure. And it was amazing to see them there yesterday. But when I was watching this Walter Cronkite interview with President Eisenhower 20 years later, I was thinking more about the ones that didn't make it through the D-Day invasion. And the sacrifice that young men, some of them not even 18, okay, because, a lot of guys lied to get into the service back then. So many people died liberating Europe from socialism. Socialism, the Nazis, they don't like to tell you what they are. National Socialist, okay? The Nazis were socialist, just like the left in this country, socialist. But liberals write the history books, and they don't like to tell you they're socialist. They like to tell you Nazi, 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 which they don't like to, because they don't want the people to know that they were socialist. But when the invasion of Europe began, so many young guys, all under 30, many of them in their teens, early 20s, and they sacrificed everything. So these loudmouth idiots, Generation Z here, Gen Z and millennials, could run around griping about their EVs or supporting these Palestinian terrorists and all this nonsense and supporting an open border and all this craziness. And there's so little appreciation from young people today of the heroes of the Second World War. And, 80 years later, they're so far removed from it. My grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and went all the way through Germany in the Second World War. And so Generation Z and millennials, they don't have a grandpa that was in the war. They're too far removed from it. Plus, they've been brainwashed in the liberal indoctrination centers known as our public education system and our university system. And for some reason, they believe that Trump and America is a Nazi nation for some strange reason. But there's just so little appreciation for the sacrifice for our freedoms that so many have died for. These guys that went into Normandy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being on one of those boats and hitting that beach? The door opens on the boat, and you've got these Nazi National Socialists firing at you with machine guns. I mean, it's crazy. And then, you survive it, and then there was none of this tour. You were there until the war was won. So many of those guys that were lucky enough to survive the D-Day invasion, how many of them died a month later, 6 months later, right, in combat? It's crazy. Every day, it was so much beyond D-Day. Every minute of every day was these guys were just trying to live through the day, and then as soon as they lived through that moment, they had to do it all over again the next day. And why did they do that? They did it to liberate the world from fascist socialists, the Nazis. And there's just not enough appreciation for these guys, even from the media. Very little coverage of the media on the 80th anniversary. It really, it's really sad. I had an uncle who he didn't land at Normandy on June 6th. It was a couple days later, and he told me when he got there, it was about the 8th or the 9th. I can't remember the date. My uncle passed away many years ago, so this was a conversation I had with him like 35, 40 years ago. But he told me that after he got by the beach, he went over this hill right outside Normandy, and as far as he could see were dead Germans. Then they went through that field. They go up another hill, same thing. Just as far as they could. There were so many people on both sides who were killed during that invasion, and they died for freedom. And here we are in this country today, when so many have died for freedom. And what are they doing? Taking our freedoms away. They're locking up our political leaders. They're arresting and trying our political leaders like Trump. Peter Navarro is in prison right now here in South Florida, where I'm at, in Miami. Why? Because Peter Navarro worked for Trump. Steve Bannon, they're trying to put him in jail again because he worked for Trump. I mean, look at what's going on here. We have a fascist government in this country right now who is arresting leaders of the political opposition. I saw a story today, a 75-year-old retired NASCAR driver, 75 years old, was arrested connected to January 6th. And this woman, this week there was a new 75-year-old woman who is being put in prison by the Biden regime for praying in front of an abortion clinic. 75 years old, she had like a 2-year sentence. That very likely could be a death sentence. Yeah, I'm glad someone mentioned Rudy Giuliani. I mean, look at the mistreatment of Mayor Giuliani, America's mayor. Mayor Giuliani, like our heroes of Normandy, is a war hero. On 9/11, when this country was under attack, the entire government went into hiding except Giuliani. The entire Congress were flown to military bases. Cheney went to the bunker under the White House. Bush was flying around on Air Force One. They were all hiding, but not Giuliani. Giuliani, during the attack on 9/11, went to the front line of the war on terror, ground zero, and he took charge. He's an American war hero, just like these Normandy heroes we're seeing on TV today, the ones that are still alive. And look at how they abuse and treat him in this fascist regime we have. Oh, I rewatched Band of Brothers about 6 months ago. I've read that book too. It's a great book. The book, which you don't really, the miniseries Band of Brothers is so detailed. It's got pretty much everything in the book. But because it's a short book. But I mean, look at those guys. The sacrifice. It's absolutely amazing. And here we are being invaded at our southern border, an organized invasion by China and Latin America. Who's stopping it? Who's stopping it? Now you should watch Band of Brothers again, and I'll tell you another good one to watch is the kind of like the companion to that, The Pacific. A few years, Band of Brothers is the book that they made the miniseries off of. Stephen A. Ambrose. I've got a Stephen A. Ambrose book I read many years ago. I'm going to reread, Undaunted Courage, about Lewis and Clark. Well, thank you, Tristy. 9:16. I appreciate that. I'm on my back porch. It is 4 minutes after 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm almost kind of switching my entire body clock very slowly to be just kind of like an overnight guy, where I can, I've been setting my alarm lately for 1:30 in the morning. So I'm thinking eventually I might start trying to get up around midnight, 12:30, get all my work done for the day before I go to the radio show. No, I'm in Florida, right down the street from President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And kind of make myself kind of like an overnight kind of worker, because I have to get up so early to do the show prep anyway in the mornings that maybe doing overnight hours would be better. I like the early morning hours. Just I get much more done at these hours of the morning than during the day. Well, the VP, if you look, my next stream when I'll be on the radio taking live calls is in 3 hours, and that is going to be about the VP pick. I'm going to open up about that. We're going to go through it. I did a poll. It's still ongoing. You guys can participate on my YouTube channel. Here, let me see here where it stands right now. I did a poll. I'm going to go over this poll when I'm on the radio this morning. But how many people have voted in it so far? Well, I didn't really put it up as a poll. I showed the list and then asked people to comment on it. And most people are saying their pick is Carson. But the Trump campaign leaked their list of who they did the vetting paperwork for VP. Okay? So the VP is about 98% going to be one of these guys. So Trump sent vetting paperwork to the following potential VP candidates: Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Dr. Ben Carson. So on the next stream, I'll go through that, and we'll talk about who you think is most likely. When I was at Mar-a-Lago, I bumped into Elise Stefanik, and I didn't recognize her at first because she's so short. I was surprised how short she was because she's so tough. Elise Stefanik, she's like Laura Loomer. She doesn't take any crap from anyone. She stands up to these people, and she is she's so tiny. I thought she was a bigger person. She's got a lot of balls, I'll tell you that. Well, whoever Trump picks, I'm going to support. But I'm going to talk about who I think is probably at the top of that list. There's two that I think are at the very top of that list. But anything could change. And I'll talk about on the next stream who I think they are and why. Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be DeSantis. He's not even on that list. That list is who the Trump campaign sent out to vet. So they got to do some serious vetting and investigating before they nominate, because they don't want any surprises. And DeSantis can't be trusted. MAGA voters, we don't trust DeSantis. Since he stopped running, he's been doing a lot of good conservative things here in Florida, no doubt about it. But you can't trust the guy. How can you trust him? Now, if you're new to my channel, guys, make sure you subscribe. This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk, and I live stream every day. I host a radio show that's on a whole bunch of FM radio stations here in Florida, and I have a podcast, and of course I stream when I'm on the radio here on my YouTube channel, and I take live calls, screenless, on the air. That's right. And by the way, if you'd like to support my content, my channel, Go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and there's just huge savings on all the top My Pillow products. And you're supporting me and Mike Lindell at the same time. It's promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And with my promo code Kane, you can save up to 80% off of some of the most popular My Pillow products. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Monty, thank you. And you also get free shipping on all orders over $75. And, those of you that have been listening to me for a long time, I have all these My Pillow products. I have bought them all. Now, I wanted to play this clip. Oh, Michael, $10 super chat, thank you. Brett Baer and Jesse Waters said his top 3 candidates being vetted: Mose Burgum, Vance, Rubio, Ben Carson. Is way too nice, not going to be the pick. One thing you got to, I'm going to talk about this on the next stream, but I think Burgum and Vance are at the top of the list. I've been impressed by both of them lately. Now, the thing about Vance, though, the thing that Vance has going against him is we don't want to lose him in the Senate, right? Burgum is not running for re-election as governor, and J.D. Vance is very important in the Senate. But is Burgum, does he have the personality to get the nomination and win in 2028 and be the second MAGA president? So there's a lot of things you got to factor in. Exactly. Yeah. So Ben Carson is, President Trump has to pick someone. Hopefully, he'll pick someone, I should say, that is electable to be the second MAGA president in 2028. Burgum not only has been everywhere with Trump, he is very statesmanlike when he speaks. I'm pretty impressed with Burgum. I really am. J.D. Vance is very good too, but unlike the House, because the Senate, only a third of the Senate is up every 2 years for re-election. So retaking the Senate is not as easy as the House. It's very difficult because it's a slower process in the Senate. And losing J.D. Vance in the Senate, that'd be hard to recover from, because you really got to think about that. Where could J.D. Vance do the most good in the next 4 years? As vice president or as a senator? I don't think it'll be Carson either. But, Trump's most important pick isn't vice president. It's attorney general, so that they can take care of all this criminal activity that's been going on with the lawfare. That's his most important pick, I think. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I think. And, that's the big one. No doubt about it. That's the big one. Attorney general. We need a very, very tough attorney general. Very tough attorney general. Someone that's not going to cave. Someone who's going to stand up to these lawfare people, because this lawfare has to be stopped, and the only way to stop it is for there to be justice in the legal system. It's not going to be Napolitano. It will not be Napolitano. Yeah, J.D. Vance is very impressive, no doubt about it. Kash Patel, AG all day, every day. Yeah, a lot of people like him as Attorney General. I don't know, but that's his most important. I like Whitaker. He was the acting Attorney General under Trump last time. Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't matter who he picks in the short term. We're going to support him. He's going to win. Did you see how New York, they're going to take Trump's gun license away from him? What a bunch of animals in New York. Really, just a bunch of animals. It's outrageous. I wanted to play. This was this just shows you how stupid liberals are. This is I retweeted this video. A drag queen is interviewing a gay woman at a pride event, okay? and they're talking about Israel and these Palestinian terrorists. Listen.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Okay, the one that said she did a study. This is a gay lady activist.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro?
Now this drag queen doing the interview. This is a MAGA drag queen who goes by the name Lady MAGA. Okay, so it's a drag queen named Lady MAGA who's interviewing this gay activist lady.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
Of
As
course.
a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
So
It is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no. So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movement.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
Well,
like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
She thinks that Israel is a Muslim country. What? This is your typical liberal.
Still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And so I
Listen.
did a study abroad in the Middle East with...
She said, now she began, this is not a young person. She's in her 30s. And I just go to the beginning. This idiot that didn't know it's illegal to be a gay person in the Muslim countries, that thought Israel was a Muslim country. Listen how she introduced herself.
And so I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and
She says, I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel
Palestine.
and Palestine. And she doesn't know any of this stuff about it. So she's probably lying about the study abroad to try to sound like she's credible. But most people that are liberal are just stupid. They're just stupid. They're not informed. They're brainwashed. They don't understand why things are the way they are. They have a very warped... That's why people get red-pilled. Have you ever heard of people getting blue-pilled? Do you know anyone or heard of anyone who's ever been blue-pilled? It's always red-pilled, right? Yeah. You can't blue-pill people. How would you blue-pill a person? Yeah. People become red-pilled because they become educated, they become informed, they grow up. I've never heard of anyone being blue-pilled, have you? Mm-mm. Maybe if they have a severe head injury. But short of that, how would somebody become blue-pilled? Mm-mm. It's just it's not a possible thing. In fact, I don't think there's been a recorded instance of someone being blue-pilled. Do you know of anyone who's ever been blue-pilled? No, of course not. Of course not. But Chris Matthews was on with Scarborough yesterday, Morning Joe and Mika.
And I'm telling you, Trump could end up rolling the score. I've got the Congress. I've got the Supreme Court. I own it all. I am a dictator. It's very reasonable to assume that's where he's headed.
Wow. You know, a dictator. With a dictator has absolute power with no legislative body, no future elections. They don't need courts. They can just issue edicts. You know, and this narrative that they have that Trump's going to pronounce himself dictator is so stupid, so absurd. But you know, they're telling their base what they want to hear, and and these leftists like MSNBC with Morning Joe and this fossil Chris Matthews, they're talking to people like that idiot lady who's gay and doesn't know that it's illegal to be gay in Gaza. It is scary. These people are frightening because they're, and they the Democrats thrive on a few things: the ignorance, fear, and division. And it's been a bad couple of days for the Democrats. They're losing everything. Bad story after bad story. The Hunter Biden laptop has been confirmed real as it's been entered into evidence. They're just having a thing, and their own people are turning against them. This audio, I'm not sure how good this audio is. This is in Massachusetts. There was a meeting in Massachusetts, a town hall in Norfolk, and the local officials, city government officials in Norfolk, Massachusetts, were bragging about what great conditions they have for the illegals. And the people in that town, who of course this is Massachusetts, they're leftist Democrats. They're pissed off about the illegals being housed in their community.
Everyone in our shelter system is here lawfully and has been vetted by the federal government at the port of entry. Every single person.
Hear the booing? They're pissed.
Is here lawfully and has been vetted by the federal government at the port of entry. Every single person.
And there was a lot of that disappointment in the state's answers. Full chaos broke out a number of times.
Up to age 21. And I just want to apologize for the disrespect that you've received thus far.
A contentious debate with the livelihoods of thousands of migrant and unhoused Massachusetts families caught in the middle. Parents had questions on the educational impact of this, the state saying up to 115 school-age kids could be moving in. The town says they just don't have the space for that many students. In Norfolk.
Okay. See, so the government, the local officials, these local Democrat officials like the illegals coming in because they get money. The federal government's funding it, right? There's a lot of money in it. All the illegal kids that are in school, they get money for the school district. All this money housing them, they get big money from that. And our local governments are just as corrupt as the federal government, who's stealing all this money from the fake Ukraine war. So these local government officials, when all that money comes in, they're stealing money for their, just like the Democrats and the Republican establishment are doing in D.C. every day. So that's why the local officials support the illegals in their community. But these people booing, those are hardcore Democrats. See, the Democrats really have turned their base supporters in so many areas in the country against them over the illegal issue, and they just don't care because they are ripping off the government of so much money. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And President Trump has raised, I'm reading like $300 million for the Trump campaign. And of course, I'm doing my part with the Mighty MAGA Lion. The Mighty MAGA Lion, which is available exclusively through me at mightymagalion.com. There's a link in the description to the video, but you can just go to the website, mightymagalion.com. And for every Mighty MAGA Lion sold, my wife and I, we make a donation to the Trump campaign. We made our second donation this week, just yesterday. And I have a huge shipment of these going out today when I get off the air. If you order your Mighty MAGA Lion today, it'll be shipped today. Isn't he cute and cuddly? Absolutely. You can watch the Republican convention with holding your Mighty MAGA Lion. You can watch the Trump debate with the senile old coot Joe Biden holding on to your Mighty MAGA Lion. Absolutely. And it's a great gift for Father's Day, for the father in your life. MightyMagaLion.com. These are available exclusively through me. We designed this and had them custom made. That's right. Members, you have an emoji for the Mighty MAGA Lion. And there's just been a huge number of viewers here on YouTube that have bought these this week. Remember, with every lion sold, we make a donation to the Trump campaign. That's right. If you buy more than one lion, of course, that's multiple donations that we make, but also you get a discount when you buy more than one lion. So MightyMegaLion.com, and there's also a link in the description. All right, guys, I appreciate that. Oh, man, I know. We've made 2 donations from the Lions already this week. Isn't that something? That's awesome. Yeah, MightyMegaLion.com. Are you guys up early or have been up all night? Because I've been up for almost 2 hours now. I set the alarm for 1:30. Yep. I love the overnights. I've always been an early morning overnight person since I was like 18. You just got home from work. Wow. Haven't been to bed yet. Working all night. Yes, yes, yes. Well, you know, I think the overnight hours are the best, especially here in Florida. It's so hot. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 95 degrees.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees right now, but it is very humid. I don't know if you can tell. I'm sweating here on the back porch. And it's going to be a high of 95 today. Up late in California. Louisiana loves Trump. Absolutely. Now, hopefully Louisiana can get Mike Johnson to start doing more of the right things. A salad at this hour of the morning? You work all night. It's like exercising at night. You don't get... Yeah, there's a lot of joggers at these early overnight hours here because it's so hot and humid here in Florida. Up late in Arizona. You know, I've had friends in Arizona and New Mexico, and they told me because of the heat that they do everything at night. I'm not scared or worried at all since we have Trump coming. If we didn't have Trump, then I'd be worried. You get used to the humidity. You know, I don't even notice it. My daughter, when she visits from California now, she notices it when she gets here. She didn't for a long time, but now she does. Double agent Mike Johnson. Yeah, I don't trust Mike Johnson. I didn't trust Mike Johnson from when he first came out to be and announced he was the speaker. His hair's too perfect. He wears makeup. If you monitor the hurricanes, okay, because the rains are going to start next week really hard here, so it's hurricane season. When they give the different models, the most accurate hurricane model of the last many, many years has been the European model. So if you ever watch the Weather Channel or the Fox Weather app is very good. They give a lot of good weather. The European model is the most accurate for the last, 10, 15 years. So that's and they have some new models coming this year, the Hurricane Center, but I don't know the new models. The European model has been like spot on. I don't know why everybody doesn't. Maybe whatever they use is a secret. But when you're watching the hurricanes, pay attention to the European model. And it's like right within like inches. I don't know how they do it, so I don't know. I don't even know where do they even do that in Europe, or like Florida oranges, right? I have an orange tree right here. It's a Florida oranges. Not all Florida oranges are from Florida. Many of them are from South America. Let me see here. Let me see here. European hurricane model. Who does that? Because it is so accurate. It started in 2006. The ECMWF made improvements that resulted in accurate hurricane forecasting. Okay. It's called the European Medium Range Forecast Model. I don't know. Everything written about it is written in scientific jargon that I'm not even going to try to read. But I don't really have a history of it. But they're calling for the European model said May 6th we're going to have 13 hurricanes in the Atlantic this year. That doesn't mean we're going to eat. Florida does not get as many hurricanes as people think. They go to the Carolinas. They go to Louisiana. Florida doesn't get them as often as people think. People think we get all the hurricanes. Thankfully, that's not true. And even if, my back porch here that I'm sitting on, this is a screened-in back porch, with the roof and everything on it. This porch I'm sitting on has been through, I don't even know how, we had this put on the house when we bought it, so it's been 20 years. This porch has been through a lot of hurricanes in the last 20 years, and I've had no damage to it. No damage at all in 20 years. So hurricanes aren't as bad most of the time. Most of the time. They can get bad sometimes. Most of the time as people think. When people think of Florida, they think that we're always running from alligators and we get hit by hurricanes all the time. If it was really that bad, would we be here? It's like you guys in California, you have little trimmers all the time. But, when's there a major life-ending earthquake? How often does that happen? Veritas, American meteorologists should be ashamed of being bested by the European model. I agree with that, Chuck. I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing that we have to go by the European model for anything, right? Yeah, he said we'd be underwater in 10 years ago. That's correct. That's correct. And we're not. The seas are not rising, at least not around Florida. When people think about Louisiana, they think you all talk like the water bowl. Yeah, because people, mostly liberals, stereotype people. They say they're against stereotyping, but that is all they do. Well, guys, it's 3:31 a.m. here on the East Coast. I have to get back and finish up my show prep and get ready to go to work this morning. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, all right? And everyone who's already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps too. All right, I'll see you later. My next stream will be in 90 minutes taking live calls. See you then.